Call me.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me? Self? Right now, you're saying hello to the world. Exactly. Hello, world. It's a holiday in America. Exactly. Bye. Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. We've got internet again. Yes, indeed. We had this. We're not even sure if it was a category. We knew it was a category 3. Some think we had a category 4, and it's possible they're still trying to prove it was a category 5. A tornado that actually hit us in southern New Jersey. And it seemed to go about 70 miles away. I mean, you know, when a whole 70 miles in distance, jumping all over the place like a little bed bug, you know. And we have electricity. We lost our electricity for a very short period of time, but we lost internet for, I guess, a couple of days, 3 days. We didn't get it back up again until the weekend, Saturday afternoon. And so we are now back in action again. So I myself moved over to where there was internet for trading, but I didn't want to try to drag all my computers over there for the webinar. So unfortunately we did not do the webinar after the tornado. But anyway, that's where we are. And let's see if anybody's tuned in. Remember, it's a major holiday here in the States. It's the end of our summer, our official end, not calendar end, but just an official end of our summer. So what we have is, everybody's trying to, there's barbecues and so forth. Hey, Robin. And so everybody's doing their party things that they do and so forth and so on. So there we are. We're starting off. Let's go with, there's the dollar yen. You can see that's moving down. Again, with the illiquidity and the Americans closed today, I never really trust this market. It's always, for years I've learned, for decades I've learned, not to pay attention to it too much. Unless there's some major calamity that actually crosses the whole planet, it's not worth trying to put a position on due to today's action. Instead, we just sit and watch and see, and we're looking back on Friday and see how they settled out last week. So let's go right to the dollar Swiss right there. And let's take a look at it on J4X. Right, where is it at? It's around here somewhere. Nothing up my sleeve. There it is. Right there. And so you can see the dollar Swiss pairs trade is, well, was firmer when I looked at it earlier. Now you can see it's kind of flattish. Let's widen that out. You see that right there. It is higher than Friday, giving us a red candle. You can see the white line is lifting up, so it's trying to become more on the upside. And when we go and look at it through Chicago Quant, you can see we closed in a weekly buy last week. We are flirting with a daily buy right now, but we are not there yet. We are trying. Let's see if we can widen that out too at the same time. Like so, and like so. Let's see, which one is it? It's right there, so we're going to go like that. And you can see it's just minus by a little bit. And the weekly, we're closing the weekly last week on Friday, is now just sideways. And then we'll see how the markets act over the next couple days. Or not a couple days, tomorrow. Well, you know, the markets will be back to normal again on tomorrow, on Tuesday. And so the numbers that kick out from this action is a very illiquid number. And so you can't really trust it. Hey Douglas, how you doing? Good morning to you. Happy Labor Day. Remember, in Europe and the world, they do it on the May 1st. And it's more of that communist socialist thing that they've been doing for 100 and some odd years. Here in the United States, we end our summer with Labor Day, where we honor labor, people who work. And we all work on some level or another. It seems to be an anachronism, but either way, it's a good way to get a 3-day weekend, and I always like that part. So, as you can see here, it's kind of just trying to lift up right now. And it may be the beginning. The J4X may be actually spotting the action there. And you can see here on Chicago Quant, it's trying to also lift up right now. It's higher than where it was on Friday. And you can see our daily is trying to lift up, and our weekly is holding on by the hair of its chinny chin. When we scrunch it up, you can see on the Chicago Quant how it has tightened up. You can see the time manifold has tightened up from where it was. My first in Brazil too. Oh, what's that? Holiday? Labor Day? May Day? You know, most of the world does the socialist thing, you know, or the communist thing. May Day, May 1st, and you have that situation. Then we have the Memorial Day from World War I. You know, the war to end all wars. That's in May also, usually in the later part of the month. The United States does it on Monday. England does it on Friday. I'm not even sure what the rest of Europe does, but it has been. It's a nice thing, you know. I think it's always good when you have a 3-day weekend. You know, trading can be labor intense. Labor Day, okay. Oh, is it a Brazil? They do? You mean from Brazil? It's the first time watching our work. Well, we find that any time that it's the American holiday occurs, we find that the illiquidity of the marketplace, since we're about 50 some odd percent, if not 60% of the world volume, we find that the data that day is usually not very accurate. You know, it hides future direction. Tuesday and Wednesday's directions being hidden right now, and so it's a sloppy day. But it's well worth, you know, doing the webinar, because now we have a chance to, without the markets being that aggressive, we're able to dissect it a little bit more, you know, try to look at it a little bit closer, see if we can understand what's going on. I myself will go off and do the picnic again today, like we did yesterday, so forth. No, it's a weekend of fun and games. And then allegedly the summer is officially over with. Children are back into school. And, you know, the world is heading towards the fall. Pumpkins and Halloween and Guy Fawkes and whatever. All right. So there is the, as you can see, the dollar is trying to show strength. And that's what we're seeing there. Now let's take a look at the euro right here. There it is. The euro is moving down. Just like I said, the dollar is showing strength. And let's shrink this down and take a look at it on J4X right here. And right there we are. You can see it's been strong, you know, for days. I think, where are we on the fact check spreadsheet? I think line 14. Yeah, we are 10 days in a daily buy, and we are what, 2 or 3? We're 2 weeks in a weekly buy. So the buying has been going on the euro. It has, you know, I mean, it could digest a little bit here, take a little profits, and then see it go even further, maybe on the upside here. But at this point in time, I'm thinking, well, you know, it is a holiday 3-day weekend, so I'm not sure how much this is really going to have much continuity, you know, consistency. The weakness may disappear altogether by this evening or going into tomorrow morning, and the next thing you know, we'll be riding up and taking out the 119 again, heading for the 120 on the euro versus the dollar. I hope it all makes sense to you, that what I'm saying there. I'd imagine most of the Canadian and American traders are not even tuned in. They're probably figuring, who cares? It's a holiday. They know better not to get too involved. So there, from the euro, as you can see here, you know, white line's been firm for a while on J4X. Lots of green bars, hinky ashy. So it does show that buying strength that's been going on. All right, let's jump over to the cable. Right. There's the dollar cable pairs trade, or the cable dollars pairs trade, and you can see same situation's been holding up pretty strong. I think we slipped into a sell and then back into a buy. I think that's how that went. Let's just take a look at that. No, I guess it's 6 days in a buy at this point, so it's showing some of the strength. And whereas this didn't let go at all, and this has not let go on the Chicago Quant, it had gone into a quick little sell and back into a buy again. Let's just go find that right. Where's that? Right there. Is that it? Yeah, there it is. So you can see, oh, I see what's going on. Okay, yeah. So we went in right here, that sell-off day, and it turned back up again. That's what it is. So went into the buy guess it was here, and then went into a sell and then back into a buy again, and it's holding on since. I have a hard time, and you can see we slid into the weekly sell on Friday in this product too, I think. Is that right there? Let's just double check that. Looks like it to me. And let's try it on this one here too. There we are. Let's find it. Right there. Yeah, so it slid into the weekly sell last Friday. Right there. It's a minus. Need to put that in there, and we need to fix that on the where is it at? Let's take a look on the fact check spreadsheet. Somehow or another it's still in a buy. It should be in the sell at this point on a weekly basis. So we'll go like that, tick one over, and there it is, 1 week in a sell, and we'll put the line in here. There it is right there. Make it pink and solid. Yep. And as we widen out for you to see better, see that right there, you can see it. It's in the minus. And you can see it when we go to the plot itself, right there. Minus 0.00059, it's a minus. And the plot for is 118 minus with 3 zeros in front of it. So you can see that pressure on this product. It's in the daily buy, and it's in a weekly sell, and it has no clear direction, and that has been the recipe for the euro for a little while now, which is really surprising. I would think that the euro versus the cable, I would think it would be the other way around. I would think that the cable dollar pairs trade would be the more coherent, more accurate, and vice versa. But I guess they've been beating up the euro, as you can see here, for a while, and it's been going sideways for a while too, until they made that break here and we went into the sell. And now 2 weeks ago we went into the buy here. So we went into the sell up at the top of the range. We went into the buy, and it's missing the bottom of the range. It got down low, but not low enough to get to the 116s, and has turned up, and you can see that strength there over the X amount of days. So dollar is being sold a little bit. Matter of fact, if you look at the ETF, which is closed today, right here, there it is right there. It's the ETF from Friday. You see it slipped into a daily sell, but we still are in a weekly buy from here. So went into the weekly buy from here, and now it's drifted all the way back down to where it went into the weekly buy. And the daily sell has not really helped us too much on that one. You can see here we had the buy signal there, and we had it tried to go into a sell but didn't make it here, but now it has finally made it into the sell today. Or no, that was Friday, and we'll have to see what they do tomorrow when they open that up as an ETF. The dollar is just sideways when you look at it overall. Matter of fact, it's actually the opposite. It's not the opposite, but it's been firm. Then they moved down. You can see it here. Back at the beginning of January, we ran up. Then we moved back down to where we started off in January. We ran up, took out the high. Now we seem to be flirting with this low right here. And the dollar, is not. It seems to be the controller of the world at this point. Let's take a look at that on the J4X too. The dollar is, running the world, and unfortunately, for a lot of us traders here in the States, are not happy about the idea. We'd rather be just part of the gang, not the total party. We don't want to be the total party. We want to be just part of the gang. Let's see if we can find it here. I know we have it. Dollar pairs. Where's it? There's Bitcoin. There's bonds. We'll find it. I know that it's here. Not there. There it is, right there. You can see that weakness here on a daily, and same as here. See that slide down that's going on. Let's take a look at it on a weekly basis on the Chicago, the J4X. Now you can see here they pushed it into the sell last week on Friday, and today, is that today? Yeah, that's today, because it says the 5th of September. So today, it's trying to break down, Whereas on our work, you can see it is still holding up right there. I don't really think we're going anywhere. So I don't know how many of you out there, see or hear from David Faber, the economist that writes the Boom, Doom, and Gloom, or was it Boom, Dust, and something? It's the Boom, Doom, and Gloom report, and he's saying that the central bankers, once they get past all this, they're going to be even worse. He thinks that they're going to be floating money, like as if it's for free, which it is for free. But he thinks that it's going to be like a war of who can print more money. That's what he's saying. And we'll have to see how that really works out. I kind of think the adults are going to come back into the room somehow or another. This quantitative easing going on now for 13 years is something like 11 years too long. It started in 2008, and the whole Obama 2 terms it was on, and they tried to slow it down finally during the Trump term, but that didn't last long. And now the Biden one, they're turning it up again like the Obama years. So it's a long time, just way too long. It's just all wrong. And he had a really interesting story out over the weekend about it. So his portfolio is 25, 25, 25, and 25. So 25 in silver and gold, 25 in real estate, 25 in stocks, and 25 in bonds. I think that's kind of generous in some ways, but it probably makes some sense, and I'm sure one day his metals will pay off. It's just not right now, as long as the U.S. Federal Reserve wants the dollar to be stronger than the metals complex. All right, let's see, where do we go from here? Douglas, would you like to see anything in particular? Since you're the only one. And Robin, would you like to see anything particular? Let's jump over to, that isn't, let's go there. We'll go put this back into the daily. Right there. We'll jump over to, let's see, we just did, we don't normally do UUP. Where did we go from? Oh, Turkish lira. So we'll jump over to Turkish lira now. Right. There it is. There's the Turkish lira. And on Chicago Quant, this is dollar Turkish lira. Right there too. And you can see it's pressing down for the last 4 full days, going on a 5th day in a daily sell. And the sell went in right there. There we go. And we've been in a weekly sell since up in here, but it's zigzagged just like that tornado did. And so there is the action in that. Let's see. What else can we say about that? Let's look at that J4X. Same thing with J4X, just moving down, pressure, trying to find a bottom, not happening. And then what we do is we drift over to the euro against the Turkish lira. That's usually has more insight to direction. Right there. As you can see, that is also moving down. Well, the Hinky Ashes are going up, and this is going up. Okay, so this is lifting. Let's see what it's doing in Chicago Quant then. Now I am curious, because it is the better of the leading indicators, that's for sure. Dollar, no, euro, Turkish lira. Right there. Yeah, look at that. We went into a daily buy, was that last night maybe? Let's see what the date is. No, Friday, how about that? So they went into the daily buy on Friday. It's down today. And the weekly is still down. But that's impressive. Maybe we're going to see a nice little move on the upside of Turkish lira. I guess that's not nice for the Turks, but it is for those that are having to buy Turkish lira. It's a good trade, it's wonderful. Because it gets cheaper. They're able to buy more. So there is the Turkish lira. Whereas in the dollar pairs, let's go back to that. Still not getting through. It's been in a daily sell. So, fascinating times with the Turkish lira, that's for sure. All right, now let's see. Where do we go from here? We jump over to. Where do we jump over to? We go over to the Canadian. That's what it is. We look and see what's going on with the Canadian. And there it is right there. And Canadian on the fact check spreadsheet, which is line 20, you can see we're 13 weeks in a buy and just 1 day in a sell. You see it's looks like it's more than 1 day though. How did that become a 1? I'm confused here. Let's check that out again. So there's the sell right there. There's a sell. It goes into the buy for 2 days, 3 days, and then goes into a sell here. And what's that? That's the 1st. It's on the 31st. So we went into a sell here. So it's in a sell now for like 5 days. Let's put that up there. A little confused why the fact check spreadsheet has an inaccurate number there, but I will chase that down later on. And so there it is, right? Oh, I see what's going on. Yeah, there it is right there. So there's our sell. And then there was our buy again. And there was a sell. So we missed 2 of those. How do we move that? There. And there. And can we move that over 1? What is that? That is 00010. Okay. No, so that's the sell right there. So it goes into the sell, goes in the wrong direction. You can't take the sell because why? Traders, we're in weekly buy. But then we go into a daily buy here and we lose right there. And you've taken a hit from the 126.80s area down to the 126.15 area, and now it's in a sell again. And you can see the weekly is trying to turn down at the same time. If both of them will join in during the beginning of this week, you can be short. I am long February calls in gold, Doc. I have plenty of time. Yeah, February definitely. And at the same time, you got to figure that between now and then, there's got to be some really good moves on gold. You know, one of those seasonal things, jewelry, all that stuff. Let's take a look at that. Right there. You can see we're in a weekly buy for a few weeks. The daily keeps on trying to lift. Today I wouldn't take too serious the gold being sold down there. If anything, you might even try to add more to it, if it goes further south. So, yeah, I think that you got to assume time to February, yeah. I have my doubts that they're going to take it down to 1,000. In other words, I don't see them revisiting the $1,000 area for a while. Just like I don't expect to see silver revisit the $13 area for a while. Matter of fact, I'd be very surprised if they see those numbers again. That may be remember when gold went to like 500 and then fell back down into the $200 area back in the 90s, late 80s and the 90s? Well, I would say that the $1,000 area has to be that same analogy, whereas chances of it going underneath 1,000 are pretty slim. Now, no doubt we are almost $800 higher, but I really don't think that there's much room on the downside of the metals complex here, as much as they don't seem to do anything for platinum or silver. Let's take a look at those two, since it's a quiet Monday. Right there, there's silver. And oh, look at that. Silver is trying to get through the weekly buy today. How nice. We'll see how that plays out over the next couple of days. And you can see we've been in a daily buy for a second day now. That's what's going on there. Now, why won't it do that? Okay, there we go. Let's try that. There we go. And I went into the sell there. There we go. All right, so silver is actually lifting up. I wonder if we're going to see platinum do this. This is middle age. This is a really good thing, you know. I mean, if we start to see silver get into a weekly buy, you got to imagine that your gold's got to start to think like, hey, maybe we need to run that thing. I need a position. Now there it is there. You can see it's not in a weekly buy, just a daily buy on the platinum. So we'll wait and see what they do with that. You know, it's just a matter of time. Oh, hold on one second. I want to grab something because I am kind of hungry. All right, I'm back. I was trying to get everything organized for this morning, you know, having the computers back up and so forth, which was really nice. So I can't believe it. It's finally lifting. I know. What's that? 17 weeks now? Look at it on the fact check spreadsheet. Line 9. 17 weeks in a sell. What's insane is the platinum's 18 weeks in a sell. That's even crazier. You know, I mean, my God. I don't know how they do this. How can they... I mean, if it wasn't for central banks and quantitative easing, this would not be happening. I think I say this to Robin a lot. I think they're pairs trading it. I think they're buying gold and they're selling silver. And maybe at this point, now they're starting to buy gold and silver and they're probably selling platinum. And then what will happen is platinum will get into a weekly buy and then who knows what that comes down to. Will they take it up even more or will that be the top of the market for the time being? Anything's possible. We'll just keep on following the numbers. That's the only way we can, you know, follow these markets is following the numbers. Now it is Monday, the markets are thin, you know, so forth and so on. You know, major holiday, but there's a lot to be said still. The fact that silver is trying to find its way now into a weekly buy with the gold. It's like, yay, finally, some life in this thing. I mean, how many weeks we kept on thinking, like when it got up to here, in this area, I thought, oh, okay, now this thing will finally slide into some type of buy. And what did it do? It did not. It rolled over again. Now, it hasn't been falling down much, and you can see it's actually making higher lows over the last month and a half. But it's still not, there's not a lot of, you know, commitment. Now, Friday, you can see we had a nice move on Friday because the economic numbers were hideous. Yeah, right. I mean, like, there's Friday from the news. We had unemployment numbers go from, what was it? It was anticipated like 750,000, and it came out to be like 250,000. I mean, you're talking about a third. And the ADP, I believe, they were looking for 850,000, and it came out to be something like 400,000. So it was like 50% difference. Now the ADP one I trust more than I trust the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the BLS, solely because it's calculated a little bit differently. But finally, silver is showing some life in it. As you can see right here, the silver is trying to bounce even with the little weakness we have here today. Whereas when we go over to gold, you know, you can see they're putting more pressure on it right here. Let's move that over. Not a lot. And let's give it a, I'm going to try to give it a refresh right now. Because if we do, it might mess it up. Remember, there's some bad data back in here. We have to straighten out every time I do a refresh. So, but yeah, we're starting to see some type of action now that we can actually say, okay, good, they're starting to buy. Well, this is going to be an interesting week. Now, you can see here, crude oil is doing the same thing too. Usually when crude goes one way, usually the metals go the same way. It's been kind of odd not to see that happen. And as you can see here, October crude is trying to go into a daily sell. Again, not trusting, the short term. And it's trying to lift into a weekly buy, which I do pay attention to. So the way it's starting off on the weekly, I do trust. But the problem is that the daily, tomorrow they may come back and just buy this thing again. And you'll be like, oh, I thought you went into a daily sell. It's like, this is a 3-day weekend. Don't trust those numbers. Yep, I see now. So we got crude oil moving up. Let's see what natural gas looks like. Let's give that a refresh. Is that Control R? Yeah, there we go. You see the daily's trying to do the same thing like crude oil. But it's holding up 2 full weeks in a weekly buy. A little bending over, but nothing major. Let's see what it looks like on J4X. Right. Is that it? I think that's it. Nat gas, yeah. Can you imagine? We're seeing, here it is, September. It has rallied. It's had over a 50% move on the upside since like June. I think we were in a weekly buy at one point in like June or May, maybe May. I think, let's take a look. Where is that at? Right there. Yeah, we went into a weekly buy in April in the 180s, or 280s, I'm sorry, 280s. It's a heck of a rally. I mean, that's really something. I mean, normally you don't see this over the summer where they almost double the value. And now we're looking at what's the highs now? The high is 471. There's one 472 versus 280. It's a heck of a move. You see just a little weakness today. I don't take that too serious. We'll just see where it starts to act tomorrow. That's why we don't send out the charts on a day like today. We don't want anybody to get confused in thinking that the daily is trustworthy at this point. All right, now let's see. So we've done those two. Did we do the Canadian? I think we did the Canadian, right? Let's just double check. Let's go check out the Canadian real quick again. I think we did. Where's that? Right there. Yeah, there's Canadian. We were a little surprised about the weakness we've been seeing in that. I see, that's what it is. It went into the buy on pre-hurricane day, tornado day, and it went into the sell. That's why it's like that. So what we are, what is that? That is minus. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going on a 5th day. So let's fix that. Right there. And we're going to go with a 4 there. There we are, like that. So for you Canadian traders of the product, we're seeing the weekly penetrate. You can see it there. And we're seeing the daily being in a sell. Let's go over to, what's this? That's Canadian. Okay, so that completes it. That's what it is. We complete there. We'll go back and look at the South African Rand in a few minutes. And we'll just go take a quick look through the energy complex like we just did. I guess we're kind of going backwards, so we might as well do this. Okay, so we might as well jump over to the Rand unless someone wants to see something. This should be going down like it has been. See that trend? We've been seeing that trend for a while. And we went into the weekly sell here. Let's get that in there too. Maybe the Zuma situation is all done with. That would be nice. That was pretty violent and crazy. Typical Zuma, the former president of South Africa. His followers and so forth were being a little violent with everybody. But I think they've calmed that down now. Alright, now, there is the South African Rand. You see it moving down, just like the way the metals are moving up in value. Now we'll take a look at the ruble right here. As you can see, the ruble is trying to lift up. And that also has now been in a weekly sell for like 4 weeks, going on the 5th right there. And you can see we've been in a daily sell since this action right here, just that one wild pop. I guess he went into a sell here for 2 days. Let's see if we can grab one of these. So it went into a sell right there. And then it went back into a buy right there. And now it's back into the sell again. And you know how we feel about the ruble around here. We keep on thinking it's undervalued. Just because of the amount of resources that the Russian Federation has. And a combination with an educated workforce. I know their GDP is not that big, and I know that, they're not a big demonstrative economy, but it just says to me that one day the laws will get organized, everything will be better, and you'll have a ruble that's trading in the 30s. That's the way I see it. Whereas the other currency that everybody talks about that might do something is the Chinese yuan. That one I can't take too serious at all. It's totally controlled by the government. I mean, 100%. So that's it. I mean, it's just an exchange for physical, really. That's all it comes down to. Nothing more than that. All right. So there's ruble, and from the ruble we go to the Japanese yen, right there. As you can see, the yen, it went into the weekly sell, as I'm nibbling on something because I am hungry. You can see here it went into the weekly sell back in July, late July, and it's gone nowhere. I mean, look at that dead flat line. The oscillation of down, then up, and now down again, but a higher low, and now it's just sideways. On the daily, it went into the sell here. Next day goes down, and we go back into a buy right here. Let's put that in. And we go into the sell right there again. And then we go into a buy again, right there. And then we slide into the sell right there again. Red. And red. And so you can see there it was just minus by the hair of its chinny chin. Actually, it was flat, and so it's really pushing it into it right there on Friday, on the 3rd. But we're not really seeing a lot of weakness in it. We're just seeing enormous amounts of sideways going nowhere. Maybe it'll put more pressure on it going into Tuesday. But right now, there's no conviction at the moment. All right. The last currency we will look at is the Mexican peso. Right there. And we thought this would get a little bit higher, but it didn't. It failed. I thought it might try to get to this high here, but it did not. Let's see how that... Oh, let's just do this real quick on the J4X. We'll throw Mexican peso up there. I wanted to put the yen up there, but maybe we'll go back and look at it if someone wants to see it. Dollar peso. Right there. Yeah, it's I really thought we were going to see a little bit more strength out of this Mexican peso, but it doesn't seem like it. And you can see there the weekly is, it closed in the weekly sell. Let's fix that too. Which mouse is it? Right there. And there's the weekly sell right there. Whereas it missed it here, just stayed in the buy, now it's pressing down. And then I guess we've been in a sell since here. We couldn't go there because you had a volatility signal. And so it's been drifting down since then. So we've been in a sell for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 days. Maybe it'll go take out these lows here, like the, what is that? That is the 1980 area. There we go. And what else can we say about the peso? I guess that's about it. You see, the last time we went into a weekly sell was here, just like this big hump. That's why I put the two big black circles around it. And it didn't really do any damage. It just went sideways to up, if anything. In other words, there wasn't a lot of conviction to the selling in that either. It's just shows you, you know, how the math picks up all the action. And over on Chicago Quant, oh, let's do that again so you can see it. There it is, right there. And then over on Chicago Quant, you can see same situation, beaten down, and is having a hard time finding a way to get back into the buy. All right, that's the end of all the pairs trades that we normally look at. If anybody wants to see another pairs trade, like if 47 shows up, we can go look at the British pound and yen and so forth. But if no one has anything particular, what we'll do is we'll drift back over to the metals complex really quick, just to make sure we looked at it all, and the energy complex, and then from there we'll jump over to the stock indices. Let's see now. Yeah, there, okay. So there is natural gas. Again, it's a 3-day holiday, so don't take that sell too serious. The fact that it went into the buy a couple of weeks ago is what you have to really watch out for. I mean, you did it in the daily buy there, and then by the end of that week, it was climbing right into the move here. Maybe it's going to be a very cold winter. All right, and then over on the metal side, I guess the only one we didn't look at is Palladium. Where's that at? Right there, and that's September Palladium. Imagine we need to switch contracts, but it does show an update there. And we've been in a weekly sell since everybody thought it was going to go to 320. We've been in a sell now since May in the Palladium. That just kind of rolled over and has done nothing but go sideways to down. And I imagine, what do you think? Is it December Palladium? I wonder what. Hey, Robin, if you're looking, take a look and see which month we should switch the Palladium over to. We don't have anybody following it, but it's always nice to take a quick look at it here and there. I don't see anything from Robin yet, but we'll see something. Exactly. I don't see anything from Robin yet, but we'll see something. Yeah. Let's just take a look and see what the front month is there. I would assume that all the metals complex. Oh, you know what we didn't look at also is copper. Let's take a look at copper. Because copper, I noticed that. Let me do this. All the metals complex. Oh, you know what we didn't look at. Let's take a look at copper because that is a very active product. Put it up on J4X. Right there. And you can see on the fact check spreadsheet, what's that, line 8 or 7? There it is, 8. So we're 3 weeks in a sell there and 2 days in a buy. You can see the strength is coming in through J4X, and you can see it's trying to lift there on the daily. Now let's take a look at it through Chicago. Right there, the October. Yeah, look at that. And it's trying to even get into the buy. It's trying, let's put it that way. And we're already in the daily buy for a couple of days. Oh, just type the month in there. You don't have to say anything more, just a month on the Palladium. Because they blocked you. Jack. Okay, cool. Let's see if we have it in there. add futures, Palladium, PA. Look up. Look up. There we go. Deck Palladium. Right there. Guess that's it. Yeah, that's it right there. And we'll put that in. And put the weekly in. There we go. And let's see what that looks like. Still shows that same weakness in the $2,400 area. And it's been in that sell since back here. Interesting products. And copper, like I said, copper is doing its, let me just go back to copper real quick. And copper's been in that sell and going the wrong way. I mean, the buy kept us protected. There's your sell, and we're in a weekly sell. And what does it do? One day it goes down in value. The next day it's back up into the buy again, right there. Move that over like that. And the sell was right there. So it goes into the sell here, goes down. You can make that money, have your stop and so forth. Or if you're doing binaries or options, then it's obviously a different game there, because you could hold on for 4 days and not get stopped out, and it's right back down again where you're making money. And then you can see here we're going into the buy, and you can see there on the weekly we are flirting with the buy there too at the same time. So copper is showing a little life. That's the gold of China. Copper is considered the gold of China. They lend and borrow against it. It's like owning gold. All right, now let's take a look at the stock indices. I know with the world closed, it's not most dynamic, but and let's do it on a short term. So where's it now? Right there. You see we're at the lows of, I don't know what's that, the last 2 hours. This is the S&P 500. Wow, look how, since the London Open, it's gone just a little drift up. Now it's flirting on the downside again. Let's see what they do with that. Right there. You see it's the time manifold's being pierced and trying to lift up right there. And then we drift over to the Nasdaq 100, or the Tech 100. Not that one. Minimize. Right there. So now that one's on a downwardly slope, but still it is plus 38. Just like the S&P is like plus, was that 9 or something like that? So we are seeing, everything is being bought still. And in this case here, you can see it's doing the same thing as the other, but just with a downwardly slope. And then we go over to, I believe, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Let's take a look at that. And we'll go look at the dailies and these things also. You see that is showing a little strength in there, and it's up like about 80, what's that, 83 points. And the manifold's getting tight. Again, it's the holidays. So now let's take a look at it on a daily basis. Let's go to that came in, I think, in a daily sell of 3 days. Right there, 3 days in a sell. The weekly is getting tighter and tighter, but overall the pressure is developing for an upside move, and I don't trust, again, it's a 3-day holiday, so I'm not really paying attention to that move here. Now let's take a look at where's it at? The S&P, S&P, right there. Friday closed in a buy. It's in a weekly buy for, what is that, line 20, what is it, line 26, 11 weeks it's in a weekly buy. So we've been in a weekly buy in this product now since early June, late June, right there. And then we jump over to the NQs. Again, another product that Went into the buy on Friday. It's showing some strength today. And the weekly's in a weekly buy from the beginning of June. So that's like 2 weeks ahead of the S&Ps, which is kind of interesting in its own right. They're the go-go stocks. Everybody buys them. Everybody wants to be a part of it. Matter of fact, I was looking on my spreadsheet. Let me just show you, since it's a quiet day. Look at the stock fact check spreadsheet. Right there? Yeah, that's right there. Look at Facebook. Right there. 25 weeks, half a year in a buy. Should we put that chart up just for the fun of it? Why not? 25 weeks in a weekly buy. Right, let's see, right there. Okay, there we go. And you can see, let's put that in. Facebook. Right there. You can see, actually, it closed in a daily sell on Friday. And what is that? They're showing me two numbers for Friday. Either way, it's a daily sell on Friday. It was a buy for weeks. Right there. And we went into the weekly buy back in late mid-March of 2021. And you got to think, this is a product that has like what, 1.5 billion customers or something crazy like that. It's an enormous number. So the product has gone from the 260s area, maybe 270s area. Let's see what that is. Right there. 268, 273-ish area. To, you can see it's trading at 376 on Friday. So it's going up 50%. Is it 50%? I guess it's 50%. It's picked up $100 from 270 to 370. So I'd say that's, it's less. I guess it's 270. So it's like a 38% increase over the last 25 weeks. Which is no little number to be, sneezed at. Let's take a look at something else. I noticed something. What was it? Was it Google is in a daily sell too. Let's see what Google. They went on a daily sell on Friday. Same thing. But it's flirting with. Oh, that's Amazon. I'm sorry. That's Amazon. Amazon went into a weekly buy last week. But it's in a daily sell. And that's what it is. Let's take a look at Google. Right there. Daily sell and weekly buy. That's like almost the same as late March in this case here. Some trends, these things don't give up their trends. They've been really solid in them. All right. So that is the equity side. And like I was mentioning at the beginning of this webinar about the Doom, Gloom, and Boom report by Mark Faber. And, his portfolio is very clear. It's 25, 25, 25, and 25. I'm a little nervous with the bonds, but you know what? The Federal Reserve with quantitative easing, they're not going to let the bonds make too much of a move no matter what in the end. Yeah, that quantitative easing has enormous powers, and that's what Faber was really talking about. He said that the central banks are going to get even crazier after the COVID is over with. They're going to get even more aggressive, not less. Spend more money, not less, which is really weird. I don't know, traders. We're seeing a lot of odd stories. We're seeing a lot of nervousness. If it wasn't for quantitative easing, the stock market would be, I would say, in the teens, like 16, 17, something like that, 18. It is hard to believe, but, when you control, we had that saying for so long, don't fight the Fed. I mean, they got involved on a very short-term basis, very small basis, and not short-term as much as just small. But nowadays, they're involved every day. They're just deeply involved, and they have a great influence over the marketplace. All right. Where else do we go from here? Anybody want to see anything particular? Excuse me. Remember, the stocks are closed here, so we're not going to see any updates. EWZ. I'm going to go there. We're going to try to find it, but I have because the markets are physically closed here, they're not going to be reflecting anything but Fridays. No problem at all. Unfortunately, there's no update today from it. Right there's EWZ. You see on, what was it, so on Wednesday, it went into the sell here at the 36.65, and it has traded down to the close of Friday with a low of 35.61. So it dropped a whole dollar. We've been in a weekly sell since up in here in the low 40s, and it's drifted down to, what's that, 37.42, drifted back up to the low 40s, then drifted back down, making a new low maybe? Yes, 25, and that is, no, yes, made a new low here, made a lower high here, and then sold it right down the next day to the lows again, 30, and then from there it drove it down into the 34 area from the 35 area, 36 area, 38 area. So there's the EWZ, and I imagine we'll see more information on it tomorrow when it's live. But right now it's just just showing you that action that they did last week, and it's another week in a weekly sell. What is it? 2 weeks, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is 10 full weeks in a weekly sell now. Cool. I hope that helped you out, Douglas. All right, traders, we're out of here. I've got other adventures to do for the day, for the holiday. We will see you all live tomorrow. So this is Doc from North America saying arrivederci. Happy trails to you until we meet again on Tuesday. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Take care, guys and gals. Excuse me.